You are welcome back. Thank you very much. And today we'll be looking at alternative energy in Nigeria. Most importantly, how we can convert this to cash. Our guest today is a man who insists that climate change problem is good business.
Oh my God.
He's the CEO of Green Energy and Biofuels, co-founder, SME Funds, and chief architect, Go Solar Africa. He's also a leader of Africa's foremost clean energy technology companies, bringing decentralized off-grid solar solutions to businesses and residential customers while spreading cellulosic bioethanol from waste biomass. Now he's going to be speaking to us on alternative energy, and in case all I've said to you today or in the past few seconds have gone over your head, we're about to break it down to you this afternoon. Please make very welcome Femi Oye, popularly known as Coach Femi Oye. Great to have you on the show this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. Hello, Nigeria.
Good. Thank you. All right. So I have said a lot of things that some Nigerians is not like, what are you saying? What is, when we talk about alternative energy, what are we looking at?
Yeah, for something to be called alternative, that means that we used to have probably the incumbent.
Yes.
We used to have the status quo. So alternative energy, it's another form of energy, another way of life, another perspective, a new way by which you can use what is already available. Probably not in excess or not sufficient or not efficient enough. So we are living at a time today that is fast-paced. And we understand that the kind of thinking that brought about the challenges or the kind of war that we are in today, we need to have a little tweak and a little change around all of that. So that's the reason why we now talk about alternative energy, renewable energy. So these are the fast lane, smarter, and a better way by which we can actually generate, own, or distribute new form of energy. And of course, they are far, far better than the old ones.
All right, and when you talk about the old ones, what are the ones that we have currently? Okay,
all over the world, we understand that the first, second, third industrial revolution has been what we've built around industrialization. The whole world wants to get better. We want to massively and rapidly scale up our production. We want to use better life equipment, appliances. So it has been primarily powered through fossil fuel, hydrocarbons like we have in Nigeria, the oil and gas, the ones we have in our generators that makes a lot of noise. It's dirty, it pollutes the environment, it soils our food, our soil, and all that. We also have other form of dirty energy like coal. We have some countries that have powered their economy, like in South Africa, largely by coal. So the world today is trying to move away from that. Just the same way we get rid of nitro, and we now have better connectivity without really having to draw long cables. So life shouldn't be that difficult by digging, sourcing for oil under the earth. There are other things we can use.
Accompanying problems that come with that.
Correct.
All right, great you're speaking about this, because we know that at the moment, looking for alternative sources, oil isn't, the world is moving away from oil. We're moving beyond oil, like you mentioned, because we must continue to evolve. Now, what are the basics for us in Nigeria for us to achieve alternative energy? Now, just to clarify, what are the sources, the alternative energy sources that you're proposing that you would like to see us utilize more in Nigeria?
Beautiful. So we have a whole lot and a whole form of alternative sources, but it's also too complicated if we just leave it as alternative. So I'm a social entrepreneur and also a renewable energy senator. So I will leave it at clean, renewable energy. So when you talk about alternative energy, you can also refer to it as renewable energy. So renewable energies are those energies that we generate and we use and can be reused again. So the cycle actually continues. So it's not damaged or it's not completely used up. Unlike the fossil fuel or the dirty fuel or the initial type that we used to have, once it's burnt, you can't ever get it back. Just like waste plastic that is made from that same hydrocarbon materials. So dirty hydrocarbon energy, once it's used, you can regain it back. But renewable energy, when you have such as hydro, you know, is water that is actually used to cut the blade of the turbine, and through that flux, you generate electricity, and we now distribute it to everyone to use. However, when you look at the source, it is water that is creating it. So the water is recirculating. So you can call that renewable energy. Then we also have things like solar, that it's very popular in Nigeria and in the world today. And of course, it's still going to be very popular in the next few decades. I was going to say it's popular, but not even yet achieved its potential, because there's so much more we can do. At the moment, what we largely do with solar energy is power-to-power lights, you know, street lights and things. But in some countries, we have cars that are powered by solar, and this is what we have an abundance of in Nigeria. Now, that leads me to my next question. Can the renewable source of energy actually sustain us in Nigeria? Saying this because we use a lot of power. We have industry that haven't even been, developed because we have a shortage of energy and power. We're not producing enough that we need to, to power our organizations. Do you think that this renewable energy, this, like you mentioned, alternative source would be able to sustain Nigeria? Yeah, absolutely. I would say yes. Renewable energy, alternative energy has the potential to be able to take care of all our energy needs in Nigeria. But quote me, I said potentially it has that capacity to doing that. However, because you don't feel something is right, does not mean that I feel the same. So we could be looking at the same problem, but our approach could be different. So likewise, if renewable energy, alternative energy can actually power industry, power our ACs, power industries, our machines, and factories, yes, it can power. However, it's a phase. We have to face it, and it's something that we've not achieved that today. Not because it's not possible technology-wise, but because the human mind, the leadership, the managers of resources, the community, do we truly believe, do we want to give it the chance to actually prove itself? So that's why you see a lot of massive other economies globally today switching 90% of their annual generation is from renewable energy. And you're asking me if they are not producing cars in those countries. Exactly. Yes, they are actually powering their industry. So Nigeria can switch 100% to renewable energy. Brilliant. Now, talking about renewable energy, we have a package from recyclers. They also are talking about recycling and reusing so that the cycle is not broken and it just continues like that. Less waste to the environment and more efficient. We have a package from recyclers. When we come back, we'll continue speaking to Coach Femi Oye. A great thanks to recyclers and the work they're doing. Just to emphasize the point that Coach Femi Oye has been making with regards to recycling and generating energy. Now, something that was said in that video and something that you also alluded to, Femi, was the fact that people can actually make money from this. How can people make money from this? Beautiful, because this is a new economy and this is an area where it's just very, very untapped. And don't forget, when you are looking for money, when you are looking for growth, when you're looking for opportunity, you should look at those new emerging trends and how it affects the bottom of the pyramid people. So today, in recycling, as you've seen recycling, so you can exchange bottle for points, and those points, you can use it to buy fridge, freezer, TV, and you can use some of this money to also pay the school fees of your children. Likewise, when we talk about renewable energy, alternative energy, so we have solars that you can get involved in. We have a lot of trainings, a lot of programs all across Nigeria that you can participate in now, because a lot of houses need solar, 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt. So you can be an installer as a lady. You can actually get trained. Within 3 weeks, you can be certified and you can start to generate money by installing this new economy. And that's what your organization manages that, do? Yes, we also make contributions to that. Even electric vehicles. We now have tricycle that is powered by solar today in Lagos, but then it supports agriculture, moving their farm produce from farm to the market. We have solar refrigeration systems whereby you can help people in Maitof Market to preserve their food, vegetables,
Beautiful.
and all that. So these are different ways by which the renewable energy, alternative energy, and the new green economy can actually support entrepreneurship, can help us to build our economy, and can also help our women to get more empowered.
So do you give people advice if they want to get on board, or how do you support
Free
people?
of charge is people's economy. So talk to WeCycle, talk to our organizations like Go Solar Africa, Green Energy Biofuel, Carbon Credit Network, whereby even cooking at home, you don't need to use kerosene, you don't need to use gas, you don't need to use firewood to cook anymore. A green fuel, by collecting waste, sawdust, we convert this to cooking fuel. These are different opportunities that young people can get involved in, even older people can actually invest in.
And if people want to get in touch with you, your Instagram handle has been scrolling on the TV screens. It's simply at Coach Femi Oye. Please get in touch. It's an alternative source of income as well, as we're talking about alternative energy.
Correct.
Thank you. We have had the pleasure of the company of Femi Oye, who is the CEO of Go Solar Africa and the co-founder of SME Funds. Thank you very much indeed for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.